Hello and welcome to tonight's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover several teams that have made roster moves over the last 24 hours, and as well as coaching decisions, and a team change, which we'll talk about at the end. First and foremost, we have FPX. As the LPL dominoes continue to fall, a lot of them fell 2 days ago. I think we had 9 teams on that board. FPX have went rebuild some more. They were kind of in rebuild mode last year and continue to do so. So Milky Way and Moan both have been brought in to battle for the jungle role. Both will be rookies. Milky Way had a 4 KDA, 6 CS per minute, 71.3 KP in LDL last year with RNG's LDL team. 381 gold per minute, which was about 20% of the team's gold, 456 damage per minute, 17 champions in 109 games. He was a player that, if I didn't put him on my prospect video, he was close to being on it. Moan played with Thundertalk, I think, or it's another player on here. There's another player from the LDL jungle. No, I think it was him. I think he played with Thundertalk, as well as Maxi in the LDL. And his numbers are very similar. 4 KDA, 5.9 CS per minute, 72.1 KP, 361 gold per minute, 19% of gold, 399 damage per minute, 18 champions in 80 games. It's going to be very interesting to see how that battle unfolds. Because last year they went with Hacker and Bonnie. Hacker taking the job, and we'll talk about him before this video is done in only a couple minutes. So they're doing that once more, keeping Jalahu, keeping Care, and going with the new bot lane. So the bot lane will be Duckdom Life. Yes, so formerly Damwankia bot laner Duckdom. Last year he played with DRX in spring and then was injured. So we don't know how long he was battling that wrist injury prior to having surgery and being taken out. We saw him wearing a cast at times. So frankly, I wasn't going to use those LCK spring stats because I felt like that would have been a disservice to him. Everybody else on the board, I am using all their stats from Season 13 except him. So these numbers are from Challenger in LCK. Well, sorry, CK, I guess, in Korea with DRX's squad, a team that was one of the better ones, so keep that in mind. And, of course, Duckdom is a LCK level talent. His Aphelios is elite amongst everybody in the world. Outside of that, he gets pretty average, but the Aphelios is nasty. So 6 KDA, 10 CS per minute, 72.6 KP against challenger players. 465 gold per minute was 24.5% of gold. 654 damage per minute, 29% of damage. He was the carry. On average, up 385 gold, 5 CS, 10 XP, 3 solo kills, 12 champions, 37 games. So I think Duckdown will be just fine on FPX. Does this mean FPX is going to Worlds or going to the playoffs? Not necessarily, but that's a talk for another day. Life will join him. Life played with HLE last year alongside Viper, inting his face off at times. There are some things that I really like about Life's game, and we'll get into that in a second. So 3.2 KDA, 72 KP, 157 damage per minute. I mean, these numbers are pretty standard. 316 vision score per minute, about 8 wards every 5 minutes. A control ward every other minute, and cleared about 2 wards every 5 minutes. 22 champions played in 115 games, and that's what I like about Life. He has a champion ocean. Does that mean they all hit? No, but he is willing to try it. And with that in mind, I think that adds some pizzazz, unpredictability. And if a team is not great, unpredictability and chaos can even out the playing field. If he brings out his Zillion or his Set or his Tarek, something that you don't see very often, and hell, it may be Int. But at the same time, if they're not expecting it, that gives you a little bit of an advantage in draft. Coach will be Sin. Sin was with RNG last year. His only real success as an assistant was with Longju Gaming, I believe, in 2018. So he went 73, 56, and 17 over his career as a member of coaching staffs in the major regions at the highest level. 11 and 15 in playoffs and regionals, and then 10 and 8 at that MSI where they would be runner-up in 2018. Ultra Prime making some moves. So Decade, we talked about Decade yesterday in my top lane video. Actually, we'll talk about Invincible as well. So Decade, 1.5 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 42.5 KP. These numbers aren't great, to say the very least. But he is a player I had identified in, I believe, last year's video with Weibo. On the academy team, somebody that deserved an opportunity. Team we did not give that to him. So then he went and played with LGD. LGD stink. So he died a lot, which you'll see if you watch that top lane video yesterday. All the rookies died a lot, pretty much. 42.5 KP. I mean, the guy was the epitome of leave me the F alone. 374 gold per minute, 21.3% of gold. 447 damage per minute, which was 23.5% of damage. 8 champions in 17 games. If you watch that video from yesterday, you're going to find out that majority of players pretty similar. Outside of the KDA, Decade died more than like anybody else on that board by quite a bit. Hacker returns to Ultra Prime. So Hacker played with Ultra Prime in 2022. Last year they brought in Ning. Hacker is average to me. He's a facilitator. 3 KDA, 5.4 CS per minute, 74.7 KP. There it is. 3 out of every 4 kills. Gives up a bit of farm to do so. 327 gold per minute, 18.5% of gold. 296 damage per minute, 14.7% of damage. So building a bit tankier. The return on investment for gold to damage is not really there. 10 champions in 68 games. Yukai. So these stats are from 2022 when Yukai played with IG. He was LNG's substitute last year, playing backup to scout in mid lane. 3 KDA, 8.4 CS per minute, 66.2 KP. Below average, a young player. 397 gold per minute, 22% of gold. 475 damage per minute, 25.5% of damage. Keep in mind, 2022 was a different meta. 21 champions in 65 games. That's one of his calling cards. He does play a shit ton of stuff. And similar to Life, that does add pizzazz. But at this point in his career, he probably needs to refine core champions and actually like have a threat instead of just picking anything. I know I just went over how picking anything can give you an advantage, but I feel like Life does have a core group of champions that I feel like are reliable versus Yukai, who I don't think has that. Jway, or Jayway, I don't know how to pronounce it, but really doesn't matter right now. So these numbers are from BLG Jr., so in the LDL, he'll be the support alongside Doggo. 3.5 KDA, 74 KP, 164 damage per minute. I do wonder, and I didn't look it up until just thinking about it now, I do wonder if in 2022 LDL they played together. Doggo did get sent down when they brought in Uzi and were playing Rise, and I wonder if J-Way was with Doggo then, and if so, they do have synergy already built up, but Ultra Prime filling out their roster. As we're finding out these teams and all the dominoes fell, like I said earlier, these teams are kind of just putting together what's left. Nynjia In Pajamas. So they allow Invincible, Shadow, and Zhao Lao Bao to go. All 3 of those players were technically under contract still. So Invincible, 2.2 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 52.2 KP. So these numbers are better than Decades, but they aren't like knocking your socks off. 386 gold per minute, 510 damage per minute. That's 22% of gold, 25% of damage. 16 champions in 82 games. And actually, I just said that, but he was in my underrated video. So let's keep that in mind too. His numbers may not knock your socks off, but relative to everybody else, they're actually pretty good in the LPL. Shadow. So Shadow and Zhao Lao Bao split last year. Shadow had a 2.9 KDA, 5 CS per minute, 74.8 KP. That is a facilitator for sure. 325 gold per minute, 18.3% of gold. 308 damage per minute, 15.3% of damage. 14 champions in 55 games. And then you're going to say, but Zhao Lao Bao is a facilitator. And oh yeah, he was too. 2.4 KDA, so he died a bit more. And had a lot less farm, 4.5 CS per minute. That is so low. You're looking at a guy with 6. He's giving up 15 CS by 10 minutes on average. Not good. Because he only had a 73.2 KP. So actually he was... Shadow got more done KP-wise, he was more involved with the team. They played around him slightly more, and he farmed slightly more. 306 gold per minute, 378 damage per minute. You can't take that away from Jalal Baldo, dealt 70 DPM more. So 700 DPM over 10 minutes. I mean, is it crazy? No. But it is a difference, right? We're looking at 308, 370, 870. That's 25% more damage. So 15.7 damage share, 8 champions in 28 games. So Shadow played 2/3 of the games roughly. Shanji, Aki, and Rookie joined Fodic and Ju in the bot lane. They've also brought in Zero. Zero, I thought, was Dignitas's coach, and that has changed. And Zero is now the substitute support. And I can only imagine he's also the coach for NIP. He is not actually going to play. I really think that would be bizarre. But Shanji, a player that, if you watch my top fives video, I said was one of my top laners going into the year in 2023. And he left a lot on the table. Honestly, he took a step back, in my opinion. It was unfortunate he wasn't able to use his champion pool as much as you would like. His Rumble is disgusting, but outside of that, it was a bit sus. 3 KDA, 7.8 CS per minute, 60.6 KP. That's a very high KP for a top laner. Very involved. 3 out of every 5 kills. 382 gold per minute, which is 21% of gold. 509 damage per minute, 23.5% of damage. 15 champions in 105 games. So you compare that to Invincible. Died less, farmed less, involved way more. Therefore, I mean, the gold and damage was similar, but in terms of being there when he needed to be and not taking resources from others, that's the diffy. Aki, the jungler from OMG, 3.6 KDA, 5.5 CS per minute, 70.1 KP, very average. I think that he can be average to good. 343 gold per minute, 18.7% of gold, 308 damage per minute, which is 14% of damage, 14 champions in 105 games. Definitely takes the backseat in terms of damage, more so getting in there and trying to make something happen. Rookie. So obviously Rookie, one of the best players of all time, for sure. Definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in our Hall of Fame in the Discord. So Rookie, somebody said in the Discord today that they thought he was mediocre and average this past year. Looking at the numbers and comparing to everybody else, and not to mention top esports finishing 6th, and actually his win rate was 2nd in summer. I would say Rookie was good this year, and more so Wayward was the sus part of that team. But nevertheless, 4.7 KDA, 8.5 CS per minute, 66.6 KP. Are these average in terms of CS and KP? Yes. 408 gold per minute, 22.2% of gold. 621 damage per minute is 27.5% of damage. That was a lot of the team's damage for top esports. It's Jackie, and then it was Rookie and nothing else. 20 champions in 103 games. Rookie will be just fine. They will join Fodic and Zhu in the bot lane, and this team will be good. Frankly, if Aki can just play average to good, and the support takes his next step alongside Fodic. Fodic and him actually looked really well last year at times. Zeri lanes especially. This team can be a sleeper to get to deep in the playoffs and hell, even maybe Worlds. But that's like I said about FPX and them maybe stinking. That's a talk for another day. Now into the other board. Speaking of teams that stink, LGD, they've brought in Kepler. Kepler's a player that I believe is very, very talented. Should have been in an LPL roster last year. A lot of people are like, oh, but you remember how he stunk at this time? He's like 21 years old right now. Like, he turned 21 in September. So in 2020, he was 17, and he was playing. A lot of people look at his 2021 at 18 years old and like, oh, well, this, that, and he's not very good. It's like, he's only 21 years old. He just turned 21 in September. He's super good. He's super good. He's very heavy, carry-oriented 80 carry. Like, he is strong side, going to pop you in the mouth. 3.8 KDA, 10.4 CS per minute, 70.7 KP. These numbers are in the LDL last year because he was screwed out of a job. I don't know why LCS teams don't try and get like a guy like Kepler or Wanfeng. It doesn't make any sense unless it's just money. And in the end, these guys aren't making much at all right now. So how much did you really offer them? Whatever. 476 gold per minute. 25.5% of the team's gold. That's a lot for an 80 carry, but he deals damage with 686 damage per minute. 15 champions in 64 games. Unfortunately, he's on LGD though, so rough. OMG. So they have to fill in the spots that we just went over, right? So Cube is brought in. Cube played with Team Wii and Rare Atom last year. Had a 2.5 KDA, 8.2 CS per minute, 49.8 KP. So he was solo dolo in a lane on his own. Less than half of the kills in terms of participation. 375 gold per minute, 21% of gold, 441 damage per minute, 20.5% of damage. Yeah, you're not going to deal a lot of damage if you're not getting involved when the team gets kills. If you're not there when the fight happens, you're not going to deal damage, so you better be taking turrets, you better be getting farm, you better be making something happen away from the fight. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're not on the same page. 15 champions in 81 games. We can say, oh, well, pressure. Pressure is perceived. You cannot actually, unless they said we felt the pressure or this or that, you really can't confirm that they have pressure. Because hell, if they don't have vision there, they don't even know where he is. Or maybe they have vision there and they're like, oh, we know where he is. We're not worried about this or that. Like, I think the value of pressure, without actually determining how much gold that pressure is creating, is kind of just a fun thing for people to say, a cliche thing. Zhao Feng is brought in to play jungle. He doesn't have many stats to go over. Played with top esports challenger team. 13 games, 4.2 KDA, 5.4 CS per minute, 82 KP. I mean, that's heavy facilitator. Nayu was the starter, and he's already playing for Rare Atom, so I don't know what this is. I don't know if OMG have a guy in waiting to sign. 351 gold per minute, 19.3% of gold, 424 damage per minute, 6 champions, 13 games. Angel played with RNG and Nynjias In Pajamas last year. 3.7 KDA, 8.4 CS per minute, 66.6 KP. A good mid laner. Is he great? No. Is he bad? Average? He's average to good at this point in his career. I think he's solid. This team is not very well able. PP got are good. Starry actually got brought up, but Demacia Cup and all that, we don't know who's actually the starter and who's not. How much that matters. But Angel, solid player. 394 gold per minute, 22% of gold, 514 damage per minute, 24.3% of damage. 18 champions in 80 games, and they've also signed No Name to be the coach again. No Name. Oh, I just looked at it. Was it with FPX? No. I just looked at it to make sure I had him in my last roundup, but they lost his job. 41-70-7 as a coach, 3-9 in playoffs regional finals. And then lastly, we have GX. And you're going to be like, who the hell is GX? Well, Excel and Giants have merged. So Giants, formerly an LEC EU LCS team, have combined with Excel to make GX. Ignar was a player that we've been waiting to be signed officially, and it is official in the GCD now. 4.1 KDA, 69.4 KP, 142 damage per minute. Obviously a guy that went to Worlds with NRG last year with FBI, a team that it's kind of crazy, right? The ghost of CLG, a team that has just shit the bed, split after split after split after split, changed their name. 3 of the 5 players remain the same, and then they go to quarterfinals. So it's crazy. 323 vision score per minute, placed almost 9 wards every 5 minutes, over a control ward every other minute, cleared 2 wards every 5 minutes, 16 champions, 58 games, definitely an engage-oriented support. I always bring up his FlyQuest 2020 run with Santorin and PoE as a highlight. Obviously, he's had a deeper run at Worlds, I think with Misfits, if I recall correctly, with PoE at that time as well. So New team, I guess. GX. Giants Excel. I don't know what they're going by, except maybe GX in the LEC. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And I'll see you again tomorrow.